that AI isn't going to take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. In fact, if we were to take a look at a couple articles, here's one that says AI could replace 2.4 million jobs in the US by 2030. Well, what happens to those jobs that are replaced? Well, like the robot repair technician, new ones will be invented. So AI is going to be creating new job categories while obsoleting other jobs. There are jobs that, like candle makers that don't exist today. There were great jobs in the 19th century. If you were a candle maker, you had a regular career to go to. But people don't make candles as a consumer thing. It's an artisanal thing today. I understand that. But when it says there AI could replace 2.4 million jobs, those 2.4 million jobs are of such a tedious nature that they can be assigned to a machine, thereby freeing up 2.4 million people to learn other jobs. Well, what other kind of jobs will there be? Well, here's another article that says that over 97 million jobs are set to be created by AI. 97 million. Well, if we're displacing 2.4 million workers and we're going to be creating 97 million jobs, I don't know how we're going to fill that. I guess we're going to have more kids and raise them quickly or something to get them in there. But that's the good news, and that's the perspective I hope to engage you in, is that the job market is changing, and if we don't acquire those AI skills, then we will end up being obsolete. Yeah, even something as random as being a registrar for a shipping company that moves art throughout the world. You're like, is AI coming for my job? Well, no, but AI can assist, particularly in things like tracking your shipments, ensuring that if there's an issue with the climate controlled vehicle for shipping, that it reports back to you and that you can respond and address it in a timely fashion. So there's always some way in which AI is going to intersect with whatever job you have. And if you are like my uncle was in the mortuary business, well, you go for a lunch run at Taco Bell and you're going to run into AI there. So there's always that. So we have a second polling question up for you, and that is, what best describes your current work situation? Are you a business executive or decision maker? Are you an IT professional? Or are you another non-IT professional, as it were? So let's open up that polling question and see where we land on that spectrum. All right, no answers. Maybe nobody works. I'm kidding. We all work. What we do. All right. Executives, IT professional. All right. 50-50 split there. Other business professional. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, there's going to be that. Okay, so we're kind of distributed there. Outstanding. Huh. Gotta say, I was not expecting it to be so evenly distributed on that question. Yeah. This is an important thing to appreciate because, and the reason that we broke these categories out is because uh, initially our encounter with AI is that it seems like a nerd thing. It's a computer thing. It's an IT thing. But the reality is the impact of AI means that it's really an executive decision maker, HR type of a conversation that's going to be had. And that's it's going to be a lot more of the HR and the C-suite that's driving the conversation, understanding what that impact is on business. And because of that, a lot of people who would otherwise wait for technology to happen to them need to get involved in the conversation to be able to address issues of ethics, such as are we excluding anybody from the conversation? Are we being inclusive? Are are our systems using good data that is representative of our community? And it sounds a little bit of like the DEI type of a thing, diversity, equity, inclusion, but it's not merely a DEI initiative. It's the reality that to get the fullest picture of what's out there, we need to make sure we have a good data set, that we talk to a lot of good people, and invite them to the conversation so that it's as broad as possible. As you can imagine, and part of the reason that you're here at this webinar is because there has been so much written about AI, it's hard to know where to begin. But to summarize, there are a number of great resources out there. One of the most thorough resources comes from Stanford University's AI Index Report. And each year, for the last few years, Stanford has been publishing this summary of AI thought and where people are at with their thinking. So a few things that surfaced from this one that was published back in April. Just to give you an idea, the Stanford AI Index was released on April 15th, 2024. And in that report, they highlighted some things. For example, this first one here, the progress that AI has made. It beats humans on some tasks, but not on all. Now, famously, when you think of, well, where does AI excel? Well, we've seen that in chess, for example. If you remember some time ago, the world chess champion was defeated by IBM's Deep Blue computer, and computers have just gotten stronger and stronger since. Other things that AI can do are some pretty routine tasks that can be clearly defined and well automated. So some visual reasoning, image classification are some of the examples that were cited. But where AI trails is in things like computational level mathematics, which requires some training of thoughts and a multidisciplinary approach to some problems. Now, I want you to keep in mind, this was published in the index report back in April 2024. And as I was reviewing my notes for this week, I came across an article published in the New York Times over the weekend that Google has produced a math reasoning tool, they call it Alpha Proof, that turned in silver medal quality work at this year's International Math Olympiad. So as far as competition level mathematics, check. AI is getting there too. And that's a fascinating thing, particularly for me, because I majored in mathematics in university. So I thought, wow, that's pretty impressive that AI is starting to put together some reasoning and some ability to develop proofs. So the NAP is narrowing. One of the challenges, though, is that the way in which we evaluate our AI tools is a bit of a challenge. Right now, there is no standard evaluation. There's no standard benchmarking. So to say that one AI tool is better than the other it cannot be assessed objectively at this point. This is one of the challenges. Because these tools are evolving so quickly and are being built so rapidly, there hasn't been a standards committee that has said, we expect this level of performance and we expect this level of task. Now, OpenAI has sketched out 5 levels of AI, and they believe that their AI is reaching level 2. Level 1 is some basic responses. Level 2 is conversational. Level 5 would be, of course, human level capability. But that framework hasn't been fully fleshed out yet and widely adopted. So in terms of looking to the AI tools, right now, it still remains a task for every organization to evaluate the tools based on what their needs are. So there's still going to be a lot of work, and again, opportunity for conversation within a company to have people participate and share what their needs are. Here's a third one. Government oversight of AI is increasing. Now, this is a double-edged sword. Like all things government related, we have to have a balanced and nuanced approach to it. On the one hand, it's helpful to have a standard or an objective benchmark to meet. On the other hand, government regulations can occasionally stifle innovation and development. And so, interestingly enough, if we're to look here in the United States, for example, we'd have to go all the way back to 2016 to find any AI-related regulation on the books. But last year, a survey done throughout the U.S. found that there were 25 different AI regulations written around the country, and that's double, or rather up by over 50% from the previous year. So there's more and more attention being paid to the need for regulating AI. India, in fact, a country that has been generally pro-innovation, looking to stay out of overseeing AI, has come to realize that there is the potential for AI to interfere with elections. And so back in March of this year, a government advisory came out to companies out of concern for election meddling. And not only that, but the just showing the idea of innovation here. There's a national strategy for artificial intelligence that was published by the government of India back in June of 2018. So this has been something that's been on India's radar at the government level, and they're encouraging the adoption and the research in AI to, again, improve their R&D, the R&D output and the like. Even the United Nations has gotten into it and weighed in on the importance of using artificial intelligence for the greater good. And this is something we would expect from the UN, but again, it's on their radar. So it's reached the UN in terms of encouraging sustainable development and greater benefit for all mankind. And even perhaps the most famous of legislations in terms of government oversight is the European Union. So the EU has not been shy about creating oversight for technology. A few years back, we had the GDPR Act, which it created some boundaries around users' personal data and their ownership of it. And that created some challenges for tech companies that tech companies rose to, and they adopted it. And the GDPR Act was perhaps one of the early tensions between, or not one of the early, but one of the ongoing tensions between government oversight and free innovation. And so the EU has stepped in with a consumer protection measure, and they're doing something similar to that with the AI Act, which requires some safeguards on general purpose artificial intelligence. It does things like limit the use of biometric identification by law enforcement. The AI Act also is talking about the ethical use of AI data that's collected and used in AI decision making, and also requiring a measure of transparency that if a customer requests an explanation as to why a decision was made using the AI, that the AI be fully explainable. So that back and forth, we're still in this transition period of looking for a good balance between the two. These thoughts are all important because they are shaping the future of work. And knowing that government oversight is going to be a part of it. Now, when we look at this idea of government oversight, we realize that, part of the future of AI work is not merely technical in nature. Some of it will be legal, and some of it will be procedural, some of it will be business process oriented. And so being able to have a conversation in your current career and your field of expertise as it connects to AI and how it's coming into the marketplace is important. So we're not expecting everybody to have a Mark Zuckerberg level of technical skill. Rather, you have what's the future is going to require is you in your current career being a subject matter expert, understanding how AI relates to your field and how it impacts, and being able to speak to that. Now, it's not all gloom and doom. It's not all procedure and paperwork. Something that people have already come to realize is that AI can make workers more productive. Just like those robots on the assembly line free up workers to, instead of doing the backbreaking work of lifting chassis into place, they can be free to restock parts bins, do quality control, and other tasks related to the process. That's another thing that AI can free us up. There have been times that I've engaged in research And what would have taken me a dozen different searches with a web search engine, I could just put into a chat bot and say, figure this out for me, or go find me the sources, and it would comb through all of the content it has weaved through and present that to me. Now, again, there is a danger there as well, is that I cannot blindly accept the result of the generative pre-trained transformer. That's what GPT stands for, by the way, and submit that as my own work. In fact, there's a famous incident about a year ago where a lawyer was disbarred for submitting a brief that was written by generative AI. He wrote the prompt, Gen AI spit out the legal brief, and he submitted it to the court without even proofing it. And then when the court called him out on his work, because the issue was that Gen AI fabricated cases as precedent that did not exist. And as a result, he lost his license to practice law. And that's a warning to us all. So again, keep in mind that although it does make us more productive, it is still a tool, and we are responsible for the work.